Right. So, I understand that a lot of you have problems with CS. And that's fine, okay? Victor may not say it's fine, but I'm saying that it's fine. So, um, don't, I can't say don't stress yourself about it because you should stress about it. But, like, don't beat yourself up about it, I guess. No one is good at CS out of the box. So, what you're going to want to do to improve your CS is you see how there's a button called practice tool. This is actually very useful. Okay, it helps a lot. Um, like I'll just add, I don't know, bird and Malphite. And like a lot of people just skip over this entire thing, but that's really useful. So whenever you're playing a champion that you don't know how to CS on, sometimes a big part of the problem is that you don't know their patterns for CS, and you can't learn that in game because how are you going to be able to? You've got an opponent fighting you. You've got ganks to worry about. You've got so much more to worry about than CS. So it's important to go to the practice tool and just sort of isolate it. Um, so that it's not so much figuring out what you're doing wrong, it's more so figuring out what is the right thing to do. Because very important. Uh, and so I'm guessing most of you haven't actually seen the practice tool. Essentially, what it is it's just a sandbox for you to try things out in a controlled environment. Um, you can reset the game, you can forward it by 30 seconds, you can teleport all over the map. There's tons of things that you can do. And that's part of what makes it so useful for practice is that practicing combos, because you can set up practice dummies in whatever formation that you want. Um, Practicing CS, very important. Getting used to the way the champion feels and controls. Um, Essentially, if you're picking up a champion for the first time, it's especially if they're a mechanically difficult champion, it can be very helpful to go into the practice tool and just play around with them. I don't know why it's offering me boots. So that you just get a feel for how they play. Um, and especially with a lot of you just starting out for the first time. Um, I'd prefer it if all of you did this. So it's simple, really. You just go in, wrestle lane a bit, just push it to tower, make sure you're getting perfect CS. See, I missed that. And the thing is, if you're not getting perfect CS while you're alone, how can you hope to get it in a PvP match? You realistically can't. Um, I shouldn't have leveled up W. Whoops. This will also teach you other things like how much your autos do at different levels, how to CS under tower. It's also very important. Um, because being able to CS under tower is is something that when I keep watching your games, it looks like it's something that you're lacking, and it really shouldn't be. Alright, so I'm just going to leave the minion wave here. And this should eventually push back to me. There's another concept that I'll touch on briefly, but I should have another video to explain it, is that in a game of League, you can manipulate the wave to either come close to your tower or close to the enemy's tower. The way you do this is either by attacking the minion wave constantly or attacking the minion wave as little as possible. And if you do that, you either push or you let it come back to your tower. I'm just gonna try let the minion wave stack up and push back so I can show you why this helps with CSing on the tower. In terms of wave manipulation, just basically whoever has the most caster minions is the one who's going to be end up pushing, because that's the one that's going to be doing the most damage output. Melee minions do really just not very much damage. They're mostly just tanking for the caster minions. So you see how there's, what, 5 there? That'll allow me to build up a freeze if I really wanted to, but that's not the purpose of what I'm doing right now. What I'm doing right now is I want them to crash under my turret, so I can show you how I would CS under tower. I shouldn't be taking that much minion harass. And so, you see I'm having a really hard time getting all these minions. Realistically, if you knew how to play the champion, you would be able to get all of these. I obviously can't because I don't play Katarina at all. But realistically, you should be able to get all of them. So I'm just going to restart the game here. After you've done this to the point where you can get perfect CS, which is not what happened, by the way, you then want to go into the lane with the bot. And CS perfectly with the bot harassing you. I picked Malphite here, which is probably a much easier champion to deal with. But it's about getting used to another champion being in the lane. It's getting used to when they move up and when they move back. And managing when you're going to get hit by trades. This. So I have the bottom beginner difficulty. Realistically, I should have it on intermediate. That's okay, because I'm not actually trying to practice cat. Realistically, then after this, you then start taking the CS while actively poking the bot. And this just sort of teaches you how to trade in lane, which is something that a lot of you have talked about that you have difficulty with. So I'd say it's probably important for you to try and get this. like to be able to poke in lane while still being able to get. Because realistically, it's only a bot. You should be able to trade with the bot and get perfect CS. I'm about to die here. But yeah, that's just the idea. And so you do that maybe what 5 times in a row for each, and you will definitely be at a better spot than you were before. And hopefully you will have learned to CS the wave while being able to harass. Yeah, that's about it.